may need physical therapy after all the arm twisting going on over this debt deal. Some on both sides of the aisle are not happy with this agreement. Joining us from Capitol Hill, Democratic Congresswoman Barbara Lee of California. Thanks for joining us. You know, I don't know if you've gotten all the details that you want before you decide how you're going to vote on this, but you did, I believe, say that this was similar to the Boehner deal, and that's a deal you voted against, Congresswoman.
It's very similar to the Boehner deal, and actually with the, footprints and fingerprints of Senator McConnell. And of course, that means that I worry more about Social Security and Medicaid being at risk. I was reading actually some of Speaker Boehner's talking points in his PowerPoint presentation, and let me just refer you to one. He says it requires baseline to be current law, effectively making it impossible for Joint Committee to increase taxes. Now we know what this means. If in fact there are these huge cuts now, we know discretionary cuts, we've got to see what those cuts are, but we know they're going to impact the most vulnerable, low income, the working poor and middle income individuals. We also know that without any enhanced revenues on the table, this opens the door for cuts in Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid. That is just totally unacceptable. But we also know that this joint committee, let me say, this joint committee that's going to be put together, I'm on the Appropriations Committee, and I know the type of deadlocks that take place there because the Tea Party members were elected to Congress to dismantle government, and that is what they are doing. And so we're going to see this debate again in December, and it's really a tragedy because we could have raised the debt ceiling last year. We must raise it. We cannot allow the country to default. But we could have done it in a different way. And so we're in the process now of reviewing this. We will be meeting with the Vice President at noon. The Congressional Black Caucus will meet, and then the Congressional Progressive Caucus. So we're in the process of analyzing this and really determining who's going to be hurt the worst.
All right, Congressman, first, I don't think anybody in the Tea Party was elected to dismantle the federal government.
Well, it appears that because when you look at the type of proposals and their agenda, it's all about saying no to anything that would allow for opportunities and for job creation and for investments in people.
Congressman, let me stick to
they have
your.
not put forth any job agenda.
Let me stick to your party, the party that controls the Senate, the party that controls the White House. The vice president is on his way to talk to you and to other Democrats in the House to try to get you to approve this deal. So let me ask you flat out. Did the president and the Democrats in the Senate sell you guys out?
I would be very interested to hear what the vice president says. And let me tell you, the president was dealt a very terrible hand, as you know, as a result of the Bush economic policies. We have to remember that. Secondly, let me say our leader, Nancy Pelosi and Senator Reid, they have been stalwarts in terms of making sure that senior citizens and Medicare and Medicaid are protected and that our voice is at that negotiating table. We're members of Congress. We have to look out for our constituents. The American people are hurting, and we want to make sure that once we turn this page, that jobs are created. You didn't hear that discussion take place much at all. This was a deal that was driven by the Tea Party and Speaker Boehner and Senator McConnell. It should have been a deal that was not associated with any debt ceiling debate or discussion. We've raised the debt ceiling many times under Democratic and Republican presidents. It has been a clean debt ceiling. I have voted for that in the past, and we should have done that this time so we can begin to look at how we, one, create jobs because so many people are unemployed. You have 99ers, people who've been unemployed over 99 weeks, who can't even now apply for unemployment. We need to figure out how they get taken care of. We need to figure out how we create jobs. And yes, deficit reduction is very important, but the greatest way to reduce the deficit is to create jobs, consumer spending. Many economists, in fact, most economists say that's what we should do.
Sounds like right now you're a no on this.
Well, it sounds like right now that Speaker Boehner has put together the framework for a deal that was very similar to the proposal that he presented, and that is exactly what he has presented to his Republican caucus. He says no tax enhancements, no revenue increases. And that to me is really very wrong. billionaires and millionaires and corporate tax loopholes, these two wars that did not need to be fought. We have a way to raise revenue. This does not appear to be a balanced approach. I want to hear what the Vice President has to say. I have many questions. I'm going to ask those questions, as are many members of the Democratic caucus. And so we'll see what they have to say. But I think this is a pathway that opens the door to begin some major cuts in Medicare and Medicaid, and that is unacceptable. And these discretionary cuts, I know, are going to hurt the poor and the most vulnerable, and that is unacceptable.
Congresswoman Lee, we'll look forward to see how you're going to vote. Take care. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.